Rush Limbaugh is going to pretend like he's still relevant. He's going to discuss the idea of him hosting a primary debate.
Somebody called here and suggested, was talking about the idea Ted Cruz put forth that I'd nominate or moderate a debate. And I said, no. If I moderate any debate, it ought to be a Democrat debate. And that subject came up last night on Special Report with Bret Baier.
I think the idea of having conservative moderators, say Rush and two people he chooses, will be a splendid idea if that panel were to be the moderators for the Democratic debate, and the GOP will take any liberal, because obviously when they took on the CNBC liberals, they won.
Dr. Krauthammer is exactly right. You know, the drive-by narrative after the... Well, because Obama's out there. You know, these guys, they're running for my office here. They're running out, saying that I'm gutless. I don't have the ability to stand up to Putin. And these are the guys that are afraid of a bunch of CNBC moderators. And they weren't afraid of any CNBC moderators. They made mincemeat of them. They didn't run and hide from the CNBC moderators. They overwhelmed them and destroyed them. And Dr. Krauthammer here is acknowledging that as well. But there you go, folks. I have been endorsed as a moderator for an upcoming Democrat debate, which is never going to happen. The Democrats will not even do a debate on Fox News. You let somebody propose me as a moderator for a Democrat debate. You want to watch people hightailing it the other direction? Well, it might. That's another reason why the Democrats wouldn't go for it. They don't want great ratings in a debate of theirs moderated by me. That would equal bad news.
It's so sad to listen to that. It's all overcompensation. He's so insecure, and he knows his shitty little radio show is failing now, so he has to pump himself up by saying stuff. I have great ratings if I host that. They don't want great ratings. Aren't I fantastic? Rush, you do know that these things called ratings exist? Now, the rating system as it's structured for AM radio is absurd. It's been absurd for the longest time, especially in the 90s when he actually was popular. They would do the ratings by having people literally fill out these little books that they got sent in the mail, and it would say, like, okay, who did you listen to 2 o'clock on Monday? And then you go down the list, and everybody would wait until they had to send it in to fill it out, and it wasn't really accurate. They would, whoever had the most name recognition, I don't know, Rush Limbaugh, yada yada, whoever. Now, that was just not accurate. It just simply wasn't accurate. Recently, a few years ago, they switched over to a different system, which actually can GPS track who's listening in a certain area. And when they did that, they found out, oh, it's all a farce. Nobody's actually listening to right-wing talk radio. Rush Limbaugh, at his biggest point, was like the mid to late 90s. Since then, he's just fallen off a cliff. And again, like I said, back when they did the ratings in the mid to late 90s, that wasn't accurate. Now it's more accurate, and I'm going to give you some specific ratings from a few months ago. So in New York, where his flagship station was, they dropped him, but then he moved over to the second biggest station, and how's he doing over there? 21st out of 37. 21st out of 37. Now also remember, guys, this is AM radio. So AM radio is already not popular. Like, there's not many people listening to it. When was the last time you heard somebody go, God, I'd love to stay here and talk, guys, but there's an AM radio show I got to catch up on. Doesn't happen anymore, right? There's the internet now. There's TVs falling out of favor with people. Never mind AM radio. I mean, what the fuck? That's like saying, I got to reach my friend in Seattle. You have your Morse code machine available? It's just not, it's not there anymore. It's just irrelevant now. It's 21st in New York. We have Dallas-Fort Worth in that area, 18th out of 30. We have San Francisco, 29th out of 34. Chicago, 23rd out of 45. Los Angeles, 37th out of 45. Now, I'm just giving you big markets here, okay? But understand, it's like this virtually everywhere. Even when you go to red states, in most big, red state areas, it's abysmal. So all this, like, I want good ratings if I host it. Let me tell you, he spoke about me on Fox News. I love it. It's all because he's insecure and he's puffing himself up. I don't have a degree in psychology, but that was originally what I went to college for. I was majoring in it, and I ended up changing and going to political science. So I have a background in psychology, and it just reeks of that. He doesn't understand that people who actually can think and be objective when they listen to him talk, we see right through you, bro. Look at him. He's pumping himself up. Hey, I want me to moderate a debate. They don't want you to moderate a debate because you're a joke. Not only because you have shitty ratings, because, Bill O'Reilly has good ratings. They don't want him to moderate the debate either. But that's because you're a joke. You're a joke. This is what they don't get. They think like we're scared? Bitch, it's the Republicans were the ones who were just saying, here's a list of our demands. You only need to stay within these narrow guidelines, because if you go outside of them, our candidates are dumbasses and they'll fuck up and they can't answer the questions. So here's the only questions you could ask. Could you imagine if the Democrats proposed something like that, what Rush Limbaugh would say? He'd be like, oh, the weak little sniveling bitches can't handle tough questions. But when the Republicans do it, not even to mention, in fact, they went on to say there, Krauthammer and him, when the GOP took on the liberals at CNBC, they won. Liberals at CNBC. He said the GOP destroyed the CNBC moderators. What debate were you fucking watching? But see, this is my point. And this is why I say they're not serious people. They're up their own ass. They're not even trying to be objective at this point. I mean, when you watch, like, for example, the part with Ben Carson where they were talking about his budget, the moderator very simply was just bringing up facts and saying, Ben, okay, so this is your budget. The math doesn't add up. That's not me speaking. That's economists speaking who've looked at it. They say that you're going to have a balloon the debt and the deficit, but you say you're going to actually balance the budget. You're simply not going to balance the budget if you implement the tax plan you want to implement. And Ben Carson's response was, he couldn't say anything except say, oh no, you're wrong. So it's not, there's no destroying of the moderators. And look at fucking Ted Cruz when he tried to demagogue and stand up and say, you're not asking good questions. None of this is substantive. The moderator was like, hey, jackass, I just asked you about the fucking debt ceiling, and you went on to say I'm not being substantive. You're not being substantive. I asked you about the debt ceiling. That's substance all day long. And then you pivoted to non-substance. You're the problem here, not the moderators. So they're in their own bubble. They don't care about the real world. They don't care about facts. And that's the point.